Hi, my name's Feritt. One word, no surname, like Madonna. For all you kids out there, Madonna is someone who was famous before your parents were born. For all you parents out there, Madonna is someone who was famous before you were born. For everyone else, Madonna was married to that guy that did the opening ceremony for the Olympics. I've been locked in my house for about 2 months now, so I decided to cut my own hair. That was a very bad idea. What's a good idea is to find a hobby that you can really throw yourself into. For many people, a cost-effective way of really expanding your life is to get a ukulele. I'm already a guitarist, so I kind of cheated when I picked up the ukulele. I already knew quite a few things that help with learning the ukulele, and I'd like to pass these on to you, not as a lesson, just a bag of tips into which you can dip when you need. First, most important thing about playing any instrument, especially one with strings and these things you can mess about with yourself, is to make sure your instrument is in tune. Because if I play this, it sounds okay. If I do this, it sounds awful. So we need to tune the instrument. A lot of people will have an app on their phone, and apps are absolutely fine. However, they are susceptible to interference from outside noise. If you try and tune your ukulele next to 15 other people who are very inconsiderately playing their ukuleles, it's going to try and tune all of them as well. So to have something that clips on, like this, or like this, or like a myriad others you can buy, they work a lot better because they work purely on the vibration of the instrument. If you're lucky enough to have an electric ukulele, as I do, 99 times out of 10 they will have a tuner built in. That's the one I detuned. And as you can see, I'm picking the note and letting it ring. A lot of people will try to tune by doing this as they turn the machine head. It doesn't really work very well because it's hearing the attack, and it needs to hear the sustained note in order to tune properly. So this should be in tune now. It is. Good. Another thing that's really worth doing is making sure your fingernails are right for your fretting hand. If you are able to put your fingers down perpendicular to the strings, all of your notes are going to come out ringing clearly. If you have fingernails like this, your fingers are going to be pushed over and they're going to make all sorts of buzzy noises from the strings. So, fretting hand, fingernails must be short. On the other hand, you can do what you like with your fingernails. I don't mean that's a difference of opinion, I mean literally, on the other hand, you can do what you like. Fretting hand must be short. First port of call for any instrument from the guitar family, sorry ukulele, but you are, is chords. With chords, just a few chords, you can play a song. 3-chord songs are the staple of pop music. The Beatles did loads, Chuck Berry did loads, Nirvana managed a few 2-chord songs and probably 1-chord songs because Kurt Cobain was just kind of like that. And chords are just clusters of notes played together. They have a harmonic relationship. Let's not go into the theory of it. Now, chords are written down with a graphical form representing the neck of the ukulele, like so. And you can see that, if I don't drop everything, this C chord here just has one dot on the 3rd fret of the 1st string, held down like so. You don't necessarily need to use your middle finger. You can use whichever one is comfortable for you. But you might not necessarily want to use any particular finger because of some other things I shall go into in a moment. Again, hold down firmly. Keep it sustained. Don't let go as soon as you strum, because you get that buzz. Now, when it comes to different fingers for different chords. If you were to use your first finger for a C, then when you go to a G, like so, you've got a lot of movement to do. So if you use your third finger, for example, then all you have to do is move that to the next string, and you've already got a point of reference for putting your other fingers down, which means you can move a lot faster. And it is, although it's time consuming and can be a little frustrating, it is worth just practicing changing between individual chords until you get used to it. What I tend to do when I'm changing to this shape chord is think of these two fingers as one finger. So rather than going eh, 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 that sound from Little Britain, isn't it? Eh, eh, eh. I will move this finger and then put these two down simultaneously. On your other hand, a lot of people will automatically use just their thumb for strumming on a ukulele, and this is the accepted form for banjo uke, the George Formby style, and there are a few very sneaky techniques called double thumbing and triple thumbing and so on, which I don't really know because I don't play the banjo ukulele. What I tend to do is prefer to use my fingernails, because then unrolling my fingers like so can give me a nice, rather than nice rallentando. And then of course you can use specialised ukulele picks. I happen to like the silicone picks from Isuzu. Purely because I really don't like the way the felt ones feel, they creep me out. It's similar to pencil shavings. Other people might have nails on a blackboard, but I'm going off on that. So, when it comes to practicing chord changes, the best thing to do by far is learn songs. Learn lots and lots and lots of songs, preferably by people you like. I, for example, am a massive Queen fan. So when I was learning guitar, I learned lots and lots of Queen songs on the guitar. When I decided to learn the piano, I bought that book so I could learn Queen songs on the piano. I'm still very bad at that. But for ukulele, and for you and your ukulele, it is worth you finding a songbook which has songs in that you like. When I was learning guitar, I bought a few songbooks that had Bohemian Rhapsody, maybe a couple of songs by The Who, and it was full of other songs that I'd never heard. And in some instances, this led me to discover some acts that I now absolutely love. I wouldn't have otherwise found them. It also means that I have found out I absolutely, really dislike Steely Dan. But that's because I went off and explored, and it led me to loads of other songs. So, well worth picking them up. There are many websites with pieces of music on for ukulele, for guitar, for banjo, etc, etc. And some of them are a little bit less than accurate. It is worth getting the piece of paper in your hand. You don't have to plug anything in. You can just have the book on your sheet music stand. I've got one just out of shot. And you don't need any electricity. You can play in a power cord. You don't need to charge your phone, unless that's how you're tuning your ukulele. But when it comes to actually practicing as well, there's another thing that I'm going to show you using the instrument I'm learning at the moment. Which is not quite in tune, but never mind. Which is repetition. If there is a particular bar of music that you cannot play, that you are having difficulty with, loop it, cycle it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Over and over and over. And the reason for this, whoops, is that that's how you get better at it, that's how you memorise it. But bear in mind, if you are making a mistake during that playing, you are going to accidentally learn that mistake. So take some time out, go back, play it slower, and if your hands start telling you, I've had enough, I'm going to make mistake after mistake after mistake, go away, have a cup of tea, or have a big poo, or do the washing up, or whatever. Just take some time out so that you can come back to it with fresh ears, fresh brain, fresh fingers. Speaking of fresh fingers, wait half an hour or so after washing up, because your fingertips will get soft and you're more likely to hurt yourself. That's probably about it, and I've just warned you about hurting yourself, which is a terrible thing upon which to end. So, perhaps I should play a song instead, just to finish off with. Play your ukulele. I should have written this song before trying to improvise. Good luck. I completely forgot. Something else to do with tuning. This is quite important for beginners. Brand new ukuleles come with brand new strings. Ukulele strings are made out of nylon or fluorocarbon or various similar materials which are incredibly stretchy. The stretchiness of nylon means they're very good for GIs to give to the British women in 1944 as gifts. But it does mean it takes a while for them to stabilise on your ukulele. So a lot of people with a brand new ukulele will get very, very annoyed that their uke will not stay in tune. It's not necessarily the ukulele's fault, although there are some ropey manufacturers out there. It's not necessarily the string's fault, it's just that they need stretching in. So what I do when I put on new strings is physically stretch them, tune it up to concert pitch, stretch them again, tune up to concert pitch again, and so on. And otherwise you can just wait for them to naturally stabilise as you play, but this can take a couple of hours of playing time, so it could take you one practice session, it could take you a week if you're only playing a few minutes a day. I hope that you're managing to play more than a few minutes a day, because, well, I hope everybody gets the bug. It will keep me in a job. Speaking of my job, I work for Folds Guitars in Derby, and we do offer a restringing of the ukulele service if you don't want to do it yourself. On that ukulele, it's a really, really tricky job, and I just chose it because I really, really like that instrument, but it is a right pain to restring. Another thing I thought I'd mention about tuning is, I mentioned apps earlier, and this one is the Boss Tuner app. It's free. It is from the world's largest producer of guitar effects pedals. It's incredibly accurate, but if I try and, whoops, attach my phone cable to my ukulele, which won't work, and I try and tune the E string, and as I talk over it, you see it'll pick up the E to start with, but then it starts trying to tune my voice. And this is the reason clip-on tuners, built-in tuners, pedal tuners, should you plug into them, work far better. When it comes to strings aging and needing replacing, you're less likely to snap ukulele strings unless you over-tighten them than you are with guitar strings. But there is a way you can tell your strings are wearing out. If you have all four strings in tune open, and then as you fret them, you find that they're out of tune, that means you've got wear patterns happening on them, and that is when you need your strings replacing. It's much easier to see on something like an electric guitar, because the strings are metal and you can see the corrosion. So, you may be able to see here that these strings, these treble strings, are black. They're not supposed to be black. Go on, get up there. Stay, good girl. The black is corrosion. It is rust. Of course, nylon doesn't rust, but it does wear out. Anyway, I've waffled on for far too long. If you do want to drop into the shop for my autograph, 1, don't be mental. 2, of course you can. Bye.